What's good, YouTube? It's been a while, and today we're back. There's been a lot of trade buzz going around the league since the deadline's only a month away, so what I'm going to do is focus on a few players and give my input on potential trades. Now, if this is your first time here and you like NBA or NFL related content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. So we're going to start off with Andre Drummond. He's been one of the big names most recently thrown into trade rumors, and with Blake Griffin being hurt, most likely out for the year, and the Pistons stuck in mediocrity, I think it's about time they traded Drummond too. So I'm going to look through potential trade packages and landing spots for Drummond and give my input on it, real life basketball-wise and fantasy basketball-wise, and see where we go from there. So the first trade is with the Atlanta Hawks. This was actually the rumored trade that initially got the Drummond trade rumor started. And the deal is Chandler Parsons and a first-round pick for Drummond. Well, this makes a lot of sense for the Hawks. They really need a big man. Their center spot is probably their weakest position. I know they could play John Collins at the center, but I really don't think he can defend centers that well. And this would give Drummond probably the best point guard he's ever played with in his career. I think the best point guard he's played with so far is probably Derrick Rose this year. Maybe Brandon Jennings, actually. I like Brandon Jennings. But the pick and pop situation or pick and roll situation with Trae Young and Drummond, Trae Young's going to get a lot of wide open threes. He already gets enough threes. And any misses he even gets, Drummond's a 20-20 machine. He's going to get a lot of rebounds on that team. It's a pretty fast-paced team, so I'm not sure how well Drummond would do in that scenario. But he's not a bad defender. He gets, I think, 2 steals and 2 blocks a game this year so far. He's been putting up a whole lot of numbers. So I think with the Hawks, he's a great fit, especially since they have a need at center. And for the Pistons-wise, they are rebuilding, so a first-round pick is obviously nice. Chandler Parsons gets a expiring deal, so Pistons get to lose out on a lot of money, which is good for them. Clear out on a lot of money, sorry. And really the only beneficiary there is going to be obviously Christian Wood and Sekou Doumbia. They're going to get a lot more minutes, Blake Griffin being out and Drummond being traded. With getting nothing in return, that's going to help them a lot. All right, moving on. So we have the Toronto Raptors. Marc Gasol in a first-round pick. This is also another expiring deal with Marc Gasol. Obviously, he's a lot better than Chandler Parsons, so you will actually get a play in return that could probably help you out throughout the season. But Pistons don't really need that. If they lose Drummond, they're probably going to be the worst team in the league. Yeah, definitely probably be the worst team in the East at least. Probably the league. So they're going to be aiming for that number 1 pick. Marc Gasol, he's probably going to get a lot of rest days. So fantasy-wise, he's going to take a big hit from that. And again, same thing. The Raptors, they have a pretty good front court situation going on with Ibaka, Gasol, and Drummond. I mean, Ibaka, Gasol, and Siakam, sorry. And Drummond is nowhere near the defender Gasol is. Probably not as good as a playmaker either. But he's going to get a whole lot more rebounds. And I think Marc Gasol is only averaging like 6 rebounds a game compared to what Drummond's averaging like 14, I think. So he's going to be a big help getting rebounds. Van Fleet and Lowry going to be able to put up a lot of shots. Siakam's going to be able to put up a lot of shots. This is probably going to hurt Ibaka a lot though, because with Drummond there, Ibaka is definitely not going to get as much burn as he is now. Gasol, he's been getting like 30 minutes or so, 20-something minutes. And Ibaka's been getting the same. But they've been playing Gasol and Ibaka together quite a lot whenever Siakam goes to the bench. So maybe they'll just do that with Drummond as well. Again, if they do get Marc Gasol back, obviously the biggest beneficiary in Detroit would probably be Sekou Doumbia. I think no matter what, the biggest beneficiary in Detroit is going to be Sekou and Christian Wood, no matter what the trades are for every single one of these situations. But with the Raptors, I think Drummond's also a nice, good fit. They'll have a lengthy I think Drummond's also a free agent at the end of this year as well, so he's going to opt out and get a big payday too. And I think he's making, I think, 28 mil right now, so he's probably gonna get around the same whenever he hits free agency. All right, moving on. Boston Celtics. Gordon Hayward and Semi Ojeleye for Drummond and Tony Snell. I don't really like this trade. Boston Celtics, they do need a center, but I think they need to get a center and keep Hayward, Brown, Tatum, Kemba, Smart, obviously, as well. And I don't really see any centers that they can get while keeping that core together. And it's going to be hard. I think Gordon Hayward if you had to move one of them, obviously I think they would aim to move Gordon Hayward. But he's having a crazy good bounce back season, averaging I think 15 points a game. He's putting up a lot of work. And Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they've also progressed a whole lot. They've been putting up great numbers. And I'm not the biggest Jason Tatum fan, and even he's impressing me. So if this trade were to happen, I think Gordon Hayward would be the clear number one option in Detroit. He's also going to get a lot of rest days, I think. If this trade does happen, Hayward is going to get a lot of numbers, a lot of opportunities to score, a lot of opportunities to play make. I think they're also going to move on from Derrick Rose, and I think it's just going to be basically the Hayward and Luke Kennard show at that point. And Luke Kennard's going to put up a lot of numbers as well if they get nobody in return. He's going to be the number one option on that team. And the Celtics, yeah, they just need a big man. They have Enes Kanter and I think Daniel Tice. And Tice is pretty undersized. But again, those 20-20 numbers that Drummond can put up is going to be huge for the Celtics. They can chuck up a lot of shots and just let Drummond go to work down there. Moving on, we have the Dallas Mavericks. I actually really like this trade, but the Mavericks aren't a bad defensive team. They're not a good defensive team either, but it's just kind of weird. Like, you already have Kristaps, you already have Dwight Powell. Obviously, Porzingis is going to play the 4, Drummond's going to play the 5. I really like this trade for the fact that it lets Luka just go to work. Like, he's going to have another pick and roll buddy. He's going to have a pick and pop buddy in Porzingis. He could take either or. It just lets him go even wilder. Luka's numbers are definitely going to go down. He's definitely going to get nowhere near the amount of rebounds he was getting earlier. And this probably allows Drummond to get a lot of just easier shots. He won't have to post up as much. He's going to have great spacing for Porzingis. Blake Griffin is not the greatest shooter, but he has improved a whole lot. So Porzingis is definitely a better shooter than him. So he gives Drummond a lot more spacing. It's going to give Luka a lot more time to work, a lot more ways to attack the basket. So I think it is a good trade for the Mavericks. I just don't see how the Pistons take Tim Hardaway, Dwight Powell, and a second-round pick for Drummond. I think they could get way more. At least I think their main goal is going to be a first-round pick no matter what. If it's Tim Hardaway, Dwight Powell, and a first-round pick, I think they'll definitely do that. But I just think the Pistons really want first-round picks, just like every other team has been getting recently. So moving on, the Clippers. So the trade is Ivica Zubac, Harkless, Jerome Robinson. I'm not even sure how to say that name, and a second-round pick for Drummond. Now, this one would be crazy. Yeah, this would put the Clippers really over the top. They already have Paul George. They have Kawhi, Beverly. And then you throw in Harrell and Drummond. That's a crazy good defensive lineup. And they're just going to their biggest weakness is the center position, in my opinion, and the power forward position. But if you could get a center like Drummond and throw Harrell in the power forward, I think that fills two big needs for them. But their center position is not that weak. They have Harrell right now, so they're fine. But this would really put them over the top. I'm not sure, again, like, I think Detroit needs more than a second-round pick. I really think they're going to be aiming for the first-round picks in these trades. So I could see it working out for the Clippers. I just don't think Detroit bites on this one as well. And I think that's it. I really think that Drummond is definitely going to get traded, especially with Blake Griffin going down. One of the biggest teams that I think that need him, that makes the most sense, is probably the Atlanta Hawks. I think a lot of these teams do make sense, but I just think Atlanta Hawks can give probably the best option in cap relief and a first-round pick. And they're not a great team either, so their pick isn't going to be pretty bad either. It's going to be pretty good. Definitely a lottery pick, which is probably what the Pistons are going to want along with their own pick, because once they trade away Drummond, no Blake Griffin, they're definitely going to be way higher in that lottery, probably top 5 pick projected at least. So I think the Atlanta Hawks trade makes the most sense out of these ones, at least. Other teams that might need a center, probably, I would say Miami, but Bam Adebayo is playing amazing. Charlotte might be another option. They really have no superstars, just Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham. Charlotte makes a lot of sense, and they could probably give young assets and a couple of picks, but I don't know if Charlotte would trade their picks. But they have a lot of young and expiring assets to give away. So Charlotte might be a sneaky one, although it might not bode well for Drummond's value. Now, there are a lot more players that are on the trade block, and over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to go over them, focus on maybe Kevin Love, Drew Holiday, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kyle Kuzma. If you have any suggestions on who I should do next, leave a comment down below, and whoever gets the most likes, I'll just go ahead and do that player next. That's all for today's video. So again, like I said, if you want to see a certain player that's in trade rumors, just leave a comment down below, and I'll get to those whenever I can. I believe next I'm going to do Kevin Love, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you soon.